Hello there, today we're going to give you an honest review of The Last Caretaker. Now this is still early access, so it has some memory issues, lagging issues, memory leaks, weapon slowdowns, and all that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, this game is not a survival game. In the least, you have this boat, you can't make it bigger, you can't make it better. You can upgrade the engines, so that is about it. You can, well, not really upgrade the engines, you build upgrades for the engines that you stick on there, but the top speed is still capped at 55 kilometers per hour, which is still pretty damn slow. You can't get anywhere. Your gas right here, that's why I'm looking at it. It stops at 2,000 liters of gas. It's not enough. We can check out the map for a second, and you got to make a lot of 10-kilometer trips. And just for an example, a 10-kilometer trip at that slow speed is going to take you, it can take you up to an hour if you run out of gas, because you're going at half speed, because you're hybrid and you use electric power and diesel. But yeah, that trip uses 5,000 liters of diesel for a 10K trip. That's how much gas guzzling goes on there for a hybrid. It's kind of ridiculous all around. So you're going to need to add some more gas tanks to your ship to be able to actually travel around at full speed, even though full speed is slow as hell. And as for traveling, the waves get really big. Not big graphic wise, but big enough to bob your ship around and have it submerge a little bit. And once that happens, you can bottom out and you'll stop dead in your tracks, and then your ship will be on like a 45-degree angle, 45 degrees to the side, not an angle. You will turn like a 45 degrees angle sideways during that process sometimes, but then you got to start from scratch and slowly accelerate and try and get up to top speed again. And like what you can do here, like you switch your camera and put an anchor down, which doesn't really help very much. It's very slow on acceleration. The whole design in this game is pretty sloppy. You got a little bit of room up here for some stuff if you can actually climb up there. Moving around can be sloppy. The ship design is just crap. You got to go down the staircase to come down here, to come in here, save your game and heal your hit points. There you go. We'll heal some hit points. I'm damaged. There we go. Get rid of that. And you've got lots of energy ports at least, so you can charge yourself up, and charge your weapons up and all that kind of stuff. It's still pretty slow. Wish it was a little bit faster later on. But yeah, just you add stuff to your ship like this, and that's about it. There's not much else you can really do. You can get some water generation, but you can't make your own gas besides that bio generator, which just isn't enough. And these are the modifying things you can have on your engine. You got some room down here, just not enough. You just enough room to put your little fabricator and your scrapper down here. So you throw scrap into here, it scraps it up, it spits it out here. You got to pick it up manually. At least now, yeah, the chests are too small, so there's no this automatic dump similar loot option in there. They didn't bother with that when they should have, and they should have had this done at the start of the game when they didn't have it. It's like, to see the materials you need, it will grab it from the chest nearby. They didn't have that at the start, which is another red flag. And they were planning on doing it, but they didn't do it on their first release, which is kind of sloppy. That's pretty loud, right? But yeah, that's pretty sloppy themselves, and the AoE is pretty small. So yeah, I'm trying to say, I got some chests right here, for example, and I wanted to build something that was just over here, and it was just out of reach of those chests and wouldn't grab it. So I had to run over to the other chest and over there and grab the stuff and do that manually when I wanted to try and build something out there, which bugged out, by the way, because I built a big huge oxygen tank, which wrecked my ship, and my ship went flying off into space because that was the bug. I think they fixed that kind of. I didn't want to try it again, building another oxygen tank thing, because there's a lot of materials to build it. Let's see if my ship fucked up, but yeah, it did fuck up. I was stuck at maximum speed on one of my saves. They fixed that in the last update I just put up there for my game, and that fixed my ship from going automatically at full speed and not stopping, even though it had no power or nothing. That's kind of a nice little bug right there. But yeah, this is what you do. You go around your ship slowly back and forth, and then they jump into the water and go to your dock areas over there. But yeah, there's nothing really underwater. There's like one or two spots in the quest line. Well, just one spot in the quest line. You go underwater for a little bit, but you just go down a little bit and then you go back up again, and then you're into a free zone where they provide you with a healing device. So yeah, you don't really need to worry about taking the extra damage for going underwater for yourself. But yeah, this game you can pick up stuff and scrap it manually like that yourself, or throw it. You open up doors and go inside stuff and loot things. So you got your little scrapping device here. You can find some robots and just sit there and scrap everything. It tells you what you got. But yeah, not having the AoE big enough on that for grabbing your loot is the one problem. They should have made it bigger. Like, you go to, it's really simple, common sense stuff. Go to one end of the ship, drop a chest, go to the other end of the ship, try and build stuff. If you can't, make it bigger. First time, you don't need the second time to fix that. It's just, what is wrong with these people? Like, common sense. 101. That's what you fucking do. They can't do that. I can't respect them. That's a really stupid thing not to do in the first place. And then the other thing in here, when you're scrapping stuff here that's damaged, there we go. Do you see the percentages on there? Do you really need to see the 99.993%? Does that any of the point percentages really matter? We don't even need the 0.1%. You can have that in there because it is maybe a kind of a valid detail having an extra 0.1, but those other two digits, we don't need that. Why'd you put them in there? Why display that kind of crap? It's just a waste of goddamn time and resources to do that for information we don't need whatsoever. Is it going to be? Do we care about that? No, we don't. At least I don't. Why would you care about that kind of precision? It's uncalled for and a waste of our time. Basically, it just shows you that they don't really care. They have their head up their ass, basically. That's why I just leave it at that. Anyways, this game here has some basic guns and stuff. We'll go over the inventory. You can't carry enough weight for yourself. You got your level up enhancers. Even putting an extra 100k for your carrying weight is just not enough. You can't reset your skills, which would be nice to do because vitality and the pressure were utterly useless. At the end of the day, I wanted to put the pressure down there for that one diving spot to search for everything. I found nothing, and I wouldn't find anywhere else. So it wasn't worthwhile to search down there and actually put the skills in there to do that easily. But yeah, you got the skills, you level up, you get some skill points, and then you learn the tech. You get a sniper rifle, and you got some little attachments for it, and then you got some other just basic, the regular basic junk that you build in these games. And most of the enemies look like this. Like this whole area was covered with pods like this. They get bigger, they're smaller. They get different colors, and they damage you if you touch them. And then they explode into a whole bunch of robots, or like spiders or leeches. And nighttime leeches come and attack you, and then you got to kill all the sides on it. To get rid of it, or they'll just respawn and pop back up again. Then you gotta repeat the process. But anyways, as for the variety of enemies, you have a shark in the water. You have one flying guy, which is passive, and the shark is you have to be pretty close to aggro him. They're all tanky as hell, and they all do hit point damage on you. And they don't have any shields per se in this game, so they all do that. Everything in this game just hits you for very small amounts of damage, but there's just so many of them, right? So this whole area was covered with these guys, and you gotta do AOE attacks. And another storm where you get a storm stuff every day and night. Basically, it's always like that. And then you see how laggy this is getting? So watch the rain falling. This is how laggy it gets right now by charging up your weapon. And the pistol was worse. The regular pistol is worse for that kind of stuff when you're playing. But yeah, this game, this game, all the zones that you come to look like kind of like this. You find some stuff that you can fix it, and you can go ahead and repair it, and then you can loot it and scrap it and get better loot out of it. But you just run around and loot stuff and disassemble it and loot it and bring it back to your ship to scrap it. And once you're building a scrapper with you, you power up the stations like that, turn it on there, then some of those electric doors will open up. Some of the other doors which you went in there. Right? So don't fall down in there. Fall down here. But yeah, this game still has lots of parkour in it too. So when in doubt of content, go to parkour. So this game has lots of areas where you gotta do that parkour stuff, and it does reward you with some of it, with lots of little hidden areas. So you're running around and searching for stuff. So yeah, you're questing and searching for stuff. And there's some nice grenades and energy supplies up here for myself. Get up there. Oh, I missed it. But anyways, yeah, this was a door that was locked off by power, so I need to power myself up. That's what you do in every place, though. You go there, you gotta drop a power supply or fix one and attach it to it, and then turn it on, and then you can open up all the doors and search for everything, and then you just go back to your ship and go to the next quest area. Back and forth that way, so you have enough material so you can build more turbines and stuff like that at the places where you need them to actually have all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's what you do in this game. So for the rundown of this game, it's just basically a 5 out of 10. It's passable. I played it to the end of the current content, but since it's still early access and the storyline is basically done, you've put the humans into space. What's the next? Repeat the process, basically. And they gotta do updates so I can repeat the process, and it's just not worthwhile to come back and play this game just to do that. And they need more, but like all these games, they might do that part right there, so you can repeat the process and a new update sometime soon, maybe in a couple months, if they can do that. But mostly these games just do updates to fix what is broken on them, which is the weapons are broken, they don't work very well, the ship is broken and sailing. There's just so much broken crap in this game. It's just not worthwhile playing it right now. So even though I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10, I wouldn't recommend you play this game right now. For if you can, just wait. But if you can't wait, I'm going to do a tips video video, so you can go ahead and watch that, or I'll go around there and show you all the little tips and tricks I learned along the way. Sorry, I'm trying to go fast and trying to be clear at the same time. It's not working. But yeah, I just wanted to give you all the information you can so you can judge for yourself. But my opinion of this game is just worth a 5 out of 10. I'm not going to come back to it until there's maybe if there's some real content that's worthwhile. And worthwhile is sending more humans into space is just not worthwhile, in my opinion, to come back to this game. It needs more. And there's not more in this game right now. And, it needs to be fixed. A lot of stuff needs to be fixed before I'd bother, for sure, and you need a better ship. You need something like that to make it worthwhile. But this game would be so much better if you could build your own ship from scratch, basically, right? That would have been that would have made the game much better if you could do that. And that would kind of deal with the waste. But anyways, you can't make your own gas on the fly either, besides the limited biofuel you can create for yourself, which is drop in a bucket for what you need. So yeah, they really have some balancing issues to deal with. So yeah, just 5 out of 10 for me, and that is it. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you later.